Groaners, welcome back again for our 93rd splash into the Groan Zone. Like a beloved pork scratching, this show will bring you a groany flavour, yet also the crunchy pain of the weekly games. We've got Yes or BS, Give Me the Question, and Who or What the Hell Am I as your games this week. I must apologise because once again, Mr. E has a cold, so this may impact on the quality of the show. I hope it doesn't. If any coughs or sniffles slide in there, my apologies. But as we often do with the show, we're going to fly and kick the show in the face with my 3 groans to start with. When shops no longer supply a snack that you love. My local supermarket has decided to no longer supply a brand of pork scratchings or pork thins that I love. However, they do stock a brand which has about half a bag worth compared to the ones I like, plus double the cost. On a side note, I was in today, they've dropped the price, so I think someone's been complaining. How the hell can less be worth more? Buying music. You hear an old tune on the radio, or wherever, like in a bar or whatever, and although Spotify is available, you'd rather add it to your personal music library on your iPod, or whatever MP3 device you have. Slight issue. No one stocks it, so there's no digital copies of the song. Therefore, you can't get it. It just seems silly to me. Less available music encourages piracy. Make music of bygone eras more accessible to buy. Scaring yourself. I often frequent the rabbit holes on YouTube and the dark side of YouTube, that's like where horror and scary videos, and end up watching scary videos. I've repeated myself then, my apologies groaners. My brain knows they're not real, yet when the lights go off, I find myself shuddering, wondering if what I watched is lurking in the darkness. I hate that feeling, and it can do one. I'll definitely be groaning some more later next week, and one of you will get your chance later on with the audience groan. But now, let's have a game with Yes or BS. Those that are playing along live, I know you're ready. You're at home listening to this, so you must be ready, groaner. Here we go. Round 1. The G7 collectible nightclub round. That should really be G-7. You'll understand that in a minute. Option A. Privilege is known as the world's largest nightclub. Option B. The Tyin, that's T-Y-I-N, is a sought after collectible coin. And option C. G-7 is the current lowest note a human can produce musically. Go Groaners playing live, give me your answers. Those at home, press pause, answer, unpause. What you got, Groaners? Give me them. We have A's flying in, bit delayed then, but they've just all flown in there. We've got a couple of C's and 3 B's. Okay, nice little even spread there, kind of. Moving on, round 2, the deep water beach round. A geodyne laser is often used in deep tissue treatments over the course of painful conditions. Option B. Water is not 100% calorie free. And option C. Vik Beach, that's V-I-K, is located in Iceland. Go Groaners live, give me your answers. Those at home, you know what to do. We have a ton of B's coming in and 1 A. Okay, I hear loud and clear, Groaners. Moving on to round number 3. The multiplied blood pasta round. I would not want to eat that. Option A. Too much licorice can cause high blood pressure. Option B. In 1920 to 1930s Italy, Benito Mussolini was successful in actually banning pasta. And option C. Anything multiplied by 1 is itself. Go Groaners playing live, your answers please. Those at home, you know the score. Got the answers there, that took a little while there. Of course the gap there will be erased, so this bit makes no sense, Groaners, but moving on. We have a ton of B's flew in there. And, oh, we have an even split, the equal amount of C's. Okay, Groaners, heard you loud and clear. Moving on, the answers will be revealed later to see who scored and who, if anybody out there, got blanked. You never know, you might get lucky. Speaking of luck, yet again, we now have part 2 of our Oh Lucky with Oh Unlucky. So last week we shared a story about an employee in a Chilean company who got paid the amount of £150,000. Lucky swine. The unlucky, he contacted the company to give the money back, but he decided not to show up and he went on the run. Eventually, the guy was brought up on charges by the company and he left 150k lighter. Unlucky. But to be fair, the company should have been more careful in the first place. So really, both the guy and the company, even when they were reimbursed, are unluckies. Switching the show to a more creepy vibe now, she's back at it again. It's Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. This week's story is called Facing the Rainbow. Viola was more prepared to walk away than anyone. A sad story, sure, but it wasn't theirs to deal with. Finding a home should be their top priority, not helping some reaper or whoever else happens to be in their path. Even Coco wasn't interested in whatever was in their factory, let alone why no one ever got to leave. I have a question. If you can answer that and not lie to me, then we will help you, the old man said. Viola wasn't impressed, but she understood. This was something they all needed to know after all. Even Coco and Dread couldn't deny wanting to know the truth about Valencia. Especially for the sake of their child, they needed to know once and for all if she was a threat. The Reaper accepted the condition, and so the old man asked why Death was after Valencia. The Reaper sighed and sat back down on the rock behind him. I've only been a Reaper for a few months, but even I know we get bored a lot, so gossip spreads. Every Reaper knows everything sooner or later. After all, one becomes a Reaper by choosing not to have their memories erased when they die. Your wife was different, you know. A real pain for the afterlife, and for the first time someone put a time limit on moving on. She swore to have her memories erased and move on to the next life, but only once her family is complete. Put up a real fight and eventually Death agreed, and everyone was ordered to leave her and her son alone. It's often known as the forbidden love amongst Reapers, he explained. The old man was shocked by the news of his wife and how she fought even in death, but he was relieved to know she never changed. Then Coco interrupted the initial shock and demanded answers about Valencia. The Reaper wasn't too thrilled with her tone, but he understood. He had a job to do after all, and he'd been waiting quite some time on that rock for someone to show up and help him free the souls trapped in the factory. If they could be saved, he's never done the other thing after all. I get your anger, I'm in a rush too, you know. So the girl you're after, or should I say bird, well, this is the most talked about topic amongst Reapers. The problem here isn't who she is, or what she's capable of. The problem is what she is. She's neither alive nor dead, which makes her the only one capable of being Death's bride. Death has waited for her to finally be in her true form, and now she is. She was the only one in existence to be born with an empty hourglass, not a single grain of sand. It's never happened before, but it's just what Death has been waiting for. If a union happens, then Death will finally get its wish to become a primordial force, he explained. Viola tried to take Valencia off the Metal 3, but once again they refused, determined to protect her. The old man was just relieved to finally understand the truth. The darkness can live in harmony with light, but doesn't require it to thrive. The darkness thrives on its own, as do the animals that rely on it. Nature chose the earth as its vessel, and as much as it needs many things to thrive, it lives in harmony with all those forces. This is what gave them status as a primordial force, existing with time but able to function completely alone. This is where Death is different. It too came with life, but Death can't function without life, just as life can't function without death. Death gives life meaning, and life gives Death existence. The two are connected in a way that Death hates, and to be able to use the powers of darkness, it would be able to finally sever that connection and be free to take its rightful place as a primordial. So, another power crazed creep trying to take her from us then. Tell your boss, everyone before him failed, and he won't be any different, Viola chimed in. The old man had a lot to process, but now wasn't the time. A deal was a deal after all, so into the abandoned factory they went. He told Ivy to always make sure she was with someone and to never wander off. There was no way of knowing what horrors awaited them in there after all. As they entered the abandoned factory, with the Reaper behind them, the doors slammed shut. A bright spotlight hit them as a robotic woman approached. She introduced herself as Anna, and immediately apologised for what awaited them in these halls. Then she turned to introduce the youngest of the children, but he was not human. Humanoid maybe, but this was clearly a doll. Someone the old man recognised fondly. However, this was no toy. The doll may have been Bobby Black, but this doll was alive. This was one of the children the Reaper had to save. I just love how Nicole comes up with all these names for her characters and all her imagination and everything else, and how it all ties together. More creepy to come next week. Creepy is over. We must now seek out the question of why, oh why? Why do people do such crazy things such as eating super spicy crisps? Or potato chips, as our American listeners know them as. 14 students in a Japanese high school recently rang for emergency help after consuming a brand of super spicy crisps. The pupils were around about the age of 15, yet the crisps are only supposed to be sold to those over 18. Getting ill effects from eating things you know you shouldn't eat, I've just got to ask, why oh why? Just avoid eating it in the first place. It'd be like me eating surströmming or Mexican hot chili. I don't like either. Let's have another game now with Gimme the Question. The Groaners are chapping at the bit here playing along live. I know those at home. Again, you're ready and waiting on you. Yeah, you are. Round 1. Your answer is 30 years. Your questions are option A. How old was the oldest cat when she died in 1992? Option B. How old is the internet? And option C. What is the average lifespan of a cassette tape? Any new listeners or that are quite young, a cassette tape is what came before CDs and MP3s, and it played on a loop and often used a Walkman. What you got, Groaners? What answers do you have? We have A's coming in. I had a funny feeling the cat wanted to get answers like. We have C's. Everyone's avoided B for some reason. Okay, Groaners, I hear you loud and clear. Moving on, round number 2. Your answer is the Arctic. Your questions are option A. What is actually a sea, not an ocean? Option B. What is the smallest ocean called? And option C. What ocean is mostly frozen? Go Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. I should say questions please. We have B's flying in, C's flying in, and A's flying in. Okay, a split across the board there. Okay, moving on, round number 3. Your answer is Panda Express. Your questions are option A. What is the name of a Japanese delivery company? Option B. What Chinese restaurant was founded in 1983? And option C. What Chinese mail company closed in London in the 1910s when workers walked out? Go Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. We have a split. A's and B's down the line. Okay, moving on. The answers, once again, will come later in the show. And yes, Groaners, I hear you. You've took part in the games. Now I know what you've been waiting for. It's now time for one of you out there to get your groan read out on the show by yours truly. The Audience Groan. This week's Audience Groan is a first part of a 4-part piece of groans, which have been emailed in from husband and wife Steve and Terry from the Cotswolds in the UK. Where we live between our properties, both ourselves and our neighbour share a driveway. It isn't the best situation, but we get by. Now, next door's car parks too close to our side of the drive, making it damn near impossible for us to reverse our car onto the driveway. It's a major inconvenience leading to us having to park on the road sometimes, which isn't the best due to how busy it gets. With all the best intentions here to our neighbour, you are a plum. Take another test because you cannot park for toffee. Well guys, it seems your neighbour needs to sort himself out, or better yet, move. Good groan. We'll hear more from the both of you next week. If you want to join in with the groany fun, you can do so using any of the following. If you want to join with the groany fun, you can send us any of the following: your groans, your why or whys, your hero or zero of the week nominations, a lucky or unlucky story, or a what the. And of course, your ideas and your feedback are always welcome. But you see, how can I do this? How can I contact the show? Well, you can send us an email to our trusty email address, which is thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can send us groan or whatever else into Facebook groups under the Groan Zone podcast. You can search us on Discord and find it under the Groan Zone, where we record live, usually every Friday at 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time. We will do our best to inform listeners when times change. Usually it'll be because something's happened, or maybe I'm ill, or something else. You can drop a message off the Facebook Messenger to contact myself. That's Mr. E. Groaner. That's Mr. with an E on the end. And Nicole, admin Nicole, on Nicole Amos. And of course, lastly, you can drop a comment on any episode and it will be picked up. Don't forget, all of your contributions, even your groans or even the slightest bit of feedback, help the show out by allowing us to bring you the content that we love and you love. Thanks very much, Groaners. Drawing the games to a close this week, we have Who the Hell Am I? Your clue is, I've been in comedies and horrors, and I was big in the 80s. You could say my best role was excellent, and my surname is a season. Just to say, if you listen on Spotify, you must go over to Podbean, the image will be there. I can't bring it up at all, unfortunately, for some reason. We will endeavour to try and put the images on Discord and Facebook in future, so we'll work on that, Groaners, but at the moment, you can only see the image on Podbean. And that answer will come next week. For now, we must move on and go to Hero of the Week. This week's hero is a solid diamond of a girl. She's 5 years old and from Wales. Why is she a hero? This brave little girl witnessed her mum of 35 years of age collapse from septic shock. She stayed with her all night trying to raise the alarm, flicking the lights on and off in their house, and stayed by her side all night. I'm not sure if she got sleep or not. She also, in the morning, tried to wake her, couldn't wake her mum up, so she got dressed in her crown, princess dress, and her wellies, bless her, and then walked to school. Don't know how far that was. She then raised the alarm to get help from her mum. 2 teachers escorted the girl back to her home address, put her mum in their recovery position, so they're also heroes. The little girl then changed into a uniform and then waited for the emergency services. Mega props to the 5-year-old little girl. Almost wrapping this episode up now, we bring you the game answers. Yes or BS first. Round 1, the G-7 collectible nightclub round. If you went for option A, Privilege is known as the world's largest nightclub, you are 100% correct. It currently holds the Guinness World Record for being the largest nightclub. If you went for option B, the Tayin is a sought after collectible coin, you're wrong. It is the world's lowest value coin. If you converted them from Uzbekistan to US money, it'd take 2,000 of those coins to equal $1. If you went for C, G-7 is the current lowest note a human can produce musically. This is true, and this record was set in 2012. For clarity, Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses, I believe at his peak, he could go into the F scale of notes, like F minors and everything else. So he could perform notes that no other human could. Round 2, the Deepwater Beach round. If you went for option A, a duodown laser is often used in deep tissue treatments over the course of painful conditions, that's 100% false. It's actually the gallium arsenide, that's the GAAS, infrared laser, provides the deepest penetration of body tissue of any laser currently available, and it can be utilised in treating a wide range of painful conditions. If you went for option B, water is not 100% calorie free, it's false. It is 100% calorie free. Not the flavoured waters and everything else. I'm talking proper 100% H2O. You can drink bottles and bottles and bottles of stuff, you're not going to gain any weight, so that's fine. Although you might get a bit of water retention, I don't know. And if you went for option C, Vic Beach is located in Iceland, that's true. Last round, round 3, the multiplied blood plaster round. If you went for option A, too much licorice can cause high blood pressure, that is 100% true. It also causes fluid retention. Strange, I've just repeated myself twice again by saying fluid retention, and that's the third time. Move on, mystery groaner, quick. If you went for option B, in the 1920s to 1930s Italy, Benito Mussolini was successful in banning pasta, that is 100% false, although he claimed to ban it would be better for public health. And last one, option C, anything multiplied by 1 is itself. This is 100% true. 4 times 1 is 4, for example. Hopefully, some of you out there got points on that game. Moving on, give me the question. Round 1. Your answer was 30 years. I knew I'd get a lot of you with the option A. I knew I would. It was actually option C was the right question. What is the average lifespan of a cassette tape? Round 2. Your answer was the Arctic. Your correct question was option B. What is the smallest ocean? And round 3. Your answer was Panda Express. Your correct question was B. What Chinese restaurant was founded in 1983 and actually opened in Florida in America? And lastly, Admin Nicole's anagram anxiety from last week. The anagram was Itoyaka. The clue was, it's a Japanese snack. The answer was takoyaki. Like I said, I had no clue. I had zero clue. I'm hopeless with anagrams. Hopefully some of you out there, groaners, you're doing better with these anagrams than I am. If you are, do let us know. And with that, groaners, we hope some of you joining live or joining later got points. Thanks for tuning in once again. We'll be back groaning and gaming with you next week. Take care. Bye bye. This is what gives them status as a primordial. This is what gives them